welcome back to Midnight Double Feature, ladies and gentlemen. We are excited to be talking about Stranger Things 5, Volume 1, the Electric Boogaloo, the return. Such a long ass fucking title. The Matt Duffer to my Ross Duffer, Zoheb Ali. How you doing?
Hello, man. I'm good. It's good to dust off the fucking perpetual shit that's been accruing on this feed. You know, because we haven't uploaded anything on here in quite a while. So yeah, man, I'm excited to talk some Stranger Things with you. How you doing?
I'm good. More importantly, every member of this podcast is now a married man. So congratulations to Zoheb. every member of this podcast is now married. You can find our balls in our wife's respective cupboards.
Exactly. Everything we talk about needs to be vetted, and if it doesn't pass the vetting process, it's censorship.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, congratulations to you guys. I know that's a big deal. Everybody in the after party was really, really sweet about it. So I thought that was really cool. If you want to check out what the after party is, we have a group attached to our podcast called The After Party. It's on Facebook. It's a fun place. We post memes and everything like that. And you can find out what we're recording, when we're recording, what feed it's going to be going to, because we will be uploading this first part of Stranger Things, Volume 1 to our main feed, and then we're going to do the final 2 installments, Volume 2 and the finale, to our Patreon, the Green Room. And if you want to check out what that is, it's patreon.com/midnight double feature, right? I believe.
That's right. Much like the wall in the Upside Down, we've got a paywall to for you guys to listen to the last 2 episodes of this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has been, we've wanted to talk about Stranger Things for a while. It's just been so fucking long since the last season that we haven't really had an opportunity to jump into it proper. It's been 3 years since the last season dropped?
We've talked about it. We did a recap. You're giving me a confused face because I also forgot as well. We talked about it on the main feed at the end of season 3, and then we talked about it on the Patreon at the end of season 4.
Holy shit.
In 2 installments, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely there.
I do not definitely fucking remember that.
I don't remember if I talked to you about it in season 3. I think it was Matt at the time, but you were definitely on the season 4 recap.
That is starting to kind of like the amount, like all the THC and stuff that has fried my brain. Like I can feel like the little flicker of neurons in my brain, like trying to remember this. It's been still, that shows you how long it's been that both of us forgot that we even talked about this ever. And like, I vaguely do remember that now, but not with any like certainty. Which is something that we can probably get into about the show. Of what is kind of like hurting the show is the time between. A lot of people have criticized the show for 5 seasons and almost a decade, which is like, I mean, that's about every other year, really, when you break it down. But it's just the fact that it's such a long gap in between each one.
July 15, 2016 is when the original season came out. And I remember, and I hate to be that guy, right? But I must have been scrolling Netflix at the right time because it hadn't caught on yet. Stranger Things had not caught on yet. I was just like, oh, what's this? Stranger Things. And like, it blew me away. That first episode, the vanishing of Will Byers, the disappearance of Will Byers.
Yeah.
It just like really blew me away because cast your mind back to 2016. We were all very nostalgic. We were looking at the 80s, you know, kids on bikes, flashlights. It was coming out. Chapter 1 was coming out. So we were very in it, you know?
Oh yeah.
And then like, you know, cut to 2025 where we, without giving any spoilers on our thoughts away, but like we are less so interested in that now collectively, I think.
No, absolutely.
It's crazy how long this has been going, dude.
Crazy. Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown is married and has adopted a child. That's how long it's been. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, she's married to goddamn fucking Bon Jovi's son.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was like, well, good for her. But because it's got to be like real quick, I do think it's got to be tough to be like Millie Bobby Brown and find just a regular Joe, because then you're like, well, does this person like me for my money, blah, blah. And it's like you marry another semi-famous person with money, and it's like, oh, well, good for her. She seems like a nice person. But yeah, we're going to break down volume 1 of Stranger Things. We're probably going to get into some spoilers, give you our thoughts. We're not going to go episode by episode, scene by scene, which is just kind of a quick overview of volume 1. Cause, yeah. And what a long half season. Cause I think the first 3 episodes are an hour and the last one's an hour and a half. That's 4.5, over 4.5 hours of TV. Like I did the math. So the first season, maybe like an hour an episode, 8 episodes, I think. And with Stranger Things, God, I hate this shit. Stranger Things 5, volume 2, that plus the finale are going to be longer than I think the first part of this is. So
yeah, the movie length.
Bro, it is fuck. Some of those episodes are an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and then the finale is over 2 hours long. And right. I do also want to shout out, if you want to find it, they are putting the finale in theaters. They are going to put it in theaters across. Cool. Yeah, I think it might be US only, and I've heard it might just be AMC theaters. But on New Year's Eve, you can buy tickets and watch the end of Stranger Things in theaters. Which
Netflix is surprising though. Like Netflix does surprise me with its theater releases. I just watched the new Knives Out in theaters yesterday, which is coming to Netflix in a couple of weeks. So they released The Irishman. They release like big movies and big projects in cinemas pretty frequently. I don't think I've seen a finale of a TV show that they've released in cinemas yet, but yeah, it's not unheard of. It's definitely not unheard of.
Well, and I think, excuse me, I think Stranger Things is the absolutely perfect TV show to do that, to end, because they've always basically been movies, to the point that it's not called Stranger Things Season 2, Stranger Things Season 3. It's called Stranger Things 2, Stranger Things 3. Like, it's not a season per se. But
I'll push back on you a little bit, because I used to think that. I did used to think that before this season. Because I don't think that they have, without getting into my thoughts, I don't think that they have the material to sustain an hour and a half, 2 hour episode. Because I'm telling you, episodes 2 and 3 of this release, they don't have the material to sustain the runtime.
Yeah, I agree to an extent. We'll definitely get into it, but if you want to check out Stranger Things, the finale will be in theaters. I don't know if tickets are on sale yet, but it's definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to. But without further ado, let's jump into our thoughts proper on Stranger Things Season 5, Volume 1. I'll leave it to you. You go first. You're the new kid back on the block. You go ahead.
I think what we'll do as well is we'll kind of dance around some of the major spoilers just for the first couple minutes here.
Oh yeah,
and then like we'll just say
general thoughts and then more detail.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think maybe if you're listening to this on the main feed, just I don't know, general audience a bit more, see how we go. By the way, our Spotify Wrapped. Hi, Poland.
That was cool.
Everyone in Poland fucking listened to us, so thank you.
That's interesting.
Which is wild. And the Germans, Jesus Christ. You're not going to find any German-friendly content in here, man. So. No, but anyway, look. My thoughts on this season are and I think because I was on my honeymoon and I didn't watch this day one. Usually I watch these day one, right? Like as soon as they drop, I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm on it. Let's go. But I mean, obviously we're on a honeymoon. Our TV in the apartment or wherever we stayed, it doesn't. Sorry. Oh, my apologies. Jesus. I'm a bit under the weather as well. So our TV in the apartment doesn't have like the casting sort of like Chromecast or whatever. You can't like stream from your phone to the TV, which is a bit of a bummer, but like also at the same time, hey, we're on our honeymoon, so we're not going to watch too much TV anyway.
Sure.
So it's fine. But the last night we curled up in bed and we put it on our phone. So we watched the entire first episode on our phone, on my phone. We turned it up, and I had a blast with that first episode. Really, really enjoyed the way they kicked this season off. And by that point, I'd scroll down Facebook a couple times, and you'd put this poll out, and you kind of like, you were just like, let me get like a temperature check on like how people in the after party were feeling about the show, about the season, and I noticed that you clicked meh. And I was like, okay. Look, I don't mean to give away your thoughts. I'm so sorry. No. But like, I kind of went into it with that viewpoint, and I was like, okay, like, see what happens. It's the first 4 episodes, whatever. And Steph and I, after that first episode, we were just like, damn, we can't wait to get home to finish that show, because I thought that episode 1 was incredibly strong. I love the way that we kind of, because I am very much a casual Stranger Things viewer. I really, really enjoy the show. I like to love the show. It's somewhere, if I had to give it a score, maybe between like 7 and an 8, right? So, but I didn't rewatch the previous season, and like you said, it had been 3 years, dude. It had been over 3 years, almost 3.5 years since the last season. And Steph has a problem with this as well. Like she's like, I don't remember anything that happens. But that being said, I think the first episode does a pretty good job of like catching you up on like where everything is and what's going on. I think they do minimize some of the things in that first episode that do happen at the end of 4 that make it, they're just like, this is huge, wait for season 5. And then in the premiere, they're just kind of like, literally kind of like cover up some of the big things. And I'm just like,
yeah,
okay, all right, yeah. All right, man. Okay. So the first episode worked really well on me. And then we came home, we watched episodes 2, 3, and 4. And watching episodes 2, 3, and 4, I'm not going to lie, episode 2 and 3 almost sent me to sleep. And which is a bummer, because Frank Darabont directed the third one, and Frank,
one of my favorite directors.
Fucking G, dude.
Yeah,
like he's a gangster. He's a fucking gangster. I mean, like, he's fucking Shawshank, Green Mile, Walking Dead before he had his massive dispute. Yeah. So, but that being said, there's a sequence in 3 that was just like, holy shit, that was incredible, and that's when they successfully fight the Demogorgon at the beginning. I was just like, damn, this is fucking sick. But I think what really started to weigh on me was like, holy shit, dude. If I hear someone tell someone a plan again.
Oh, dude.
Like,
you're preaching to the converted. Yeah.
Dude, I'm just like, because I'm seriously like, okay, I know we did this in the previous seasons, but I don't remember it being done this frequently.
I am like drunk every with time planning. My cup overfloweth. Yes, 100%.
Dude, seriously, like every time we're done planning, and we're doing the thing where we all stand around in a circle and we're finishing each other's sentences, which works in things, right? Like that, they do that stuff in Mission Impossible all the fucking time, right? But as soon as that scene ends, they kind of break off into groups, and then they explain the plan again to someone else, and it's just like, I can't. And it's such a, it's redundant, and it's such a, I hate the word exposition, because I feel like it's such a shitty critical movie podcaster thing to poke at, because exposition is hard. It's hard to relay to your audience what you're going to do, but standing around in a circle, just it's tough. It's multiple times over an episode, dude.
No, it's one of those things where, where I think this spawned from is that first season when they actually have 11 and they're like, because we're rewatching it from the beginning on our Blu-ray through a projector. It's please watch Stranger Things on a projector. It looks amazing. Okay. But when 11 flips the D&D board and puts the Demogorgon, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, this is interesting. Season 2, they have Will drawing the Mind Flayer and the tunnels and stuff. And I think they've, a little bit of that is expected in this show now, but the amount that is in the first part of of season 5 is like, bro, every episode, this is only maybe 4.5 hours of TV, and we have 9 of these scenes, and I'm fucking exhausted by the end of it. Like, holy shit.
Yes, my eyes glaze over when we're just talking about plans, and like, it's such a screenwriting thing of like, usually when someone's talking about a plan to someone, it's not going to go that way in the execution when they actually do it. It's the same thing. I actually heard this on a podcast once. When you see a rehearsal of like a concert or something in like a show or a movie, usually that rehearsal is not going to go the way it's shown. Like, you know, if they show the whole rehearsal and then later you see the actual show, it's not going to happen pretty much. And like, that's kind of like screenwriting sort of like little thing. But I mean, I get why they do it, because it's taken from one of its influences, E.T. Like, I mean, Spielberg is a massive influence on the show. And like, when they conspire to, you know, save E.T. from the FBI, from the clutches of the government, it's there, you know, like it is stuff that we're all familiar with. But like, we're in season 5 of this shit now. Like, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep fucking repeating plans on plans on plans. And that's eventually like what I feel like 60% of the episodes end up being. And like, I didn't mean to come here and be a downer, because I really enjoyed this season. I voted in your poll that I dug this season. But that being said, like, I feel like the lows are very low and the highs are very high. And in that way, it's become late stage Star Wars to me, where the lows are very low, but the highs are very high, excluding Andor, because all of Andor is on the high. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I feel like we're also doing the whole like, and forgive me for using this terminology. I'm about to turn 32 in 5 days, but here we go. We're doing a lot of aura farming in this show.
Oh yeah.
Man, there's a shitload of aura farming in terms of like, these kids now know how famous they are and how like what's the word?
Like the pull they have.
Yeah, inexpendable, or like, you know, they kind of just you can't do this show without me sort of thing. Millie Bobby Brown, until this season, was the reason that I obviously watched the show, because I think the character of 11 is just so compelling. But they didn't really give her much to do in these first 4 episodes, and I don't think her performance is great in these first 4 episodes. And she's a kid, right? Like, she's like 20 whatever. So it's hard for me to come on here and like criticize like her acting abilities. But like, when we're in the woods, like in the Upside Down, and she's just done like talking to Hopper and then moving on to the next thing, she does the grimace face and she walks off and shit, and I'm just like, I can't. This level that she's on is different to everyone else's level, which again, by design, right? Because 11 is much different to the other kids. But Hopper still continues to really carry the show for me. So does Joyce. I think Maya Hawke is really doing some great work with some absolute dog shit material. Like, she's incredible. She's great in like the way she like delivers her lines, and like the way she's magnetic as soon as she steps on screen. But like, I can't like, and I know that like her interactions with Will is why what happens with Will at the end happens.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I know that kind of needs to happen, but like, man, she's got some stuff to have to deal with this season. But look, I feel like I'm kind of I'm sounding like I'm very down on it, and I'm absolutely not. I really, by the time we hit episode 4. And episode 4 itself is also a bit wonky. I think just because of its length. If it was shorter, I think it'll be an absolute banger.
Right.
But like, we spent a lot of time in the fucking sewer system, dude. Like, holy shit. Like, can we speed this up a little bit? Like, underneath the fucking bathroom. Like, but then once we're in the moment of what happens, Steph and I walked away and we were just like, damn, we'll see We'll see you on Christmas Day, Stranger Things, when you release your next volume, because that was that reveal is awesome. And my friend had kind of like sort of like messaged me, and he's like, "The end is awesome, dude." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, say no more."
Yeah, I messaged you because I almost sent you a meme, and I was like, whoa, have you finished it? And you're like, yeah, okay, we finished it. I'm like, oh, thank God, because I almost fucking spoiled it.
Never got that meme, by the way. I don't think you sent it through, but
I did. I was so afraid of ruining it that I closed Instagram and lost it, and I don't remember what it was.
But something happens before that moment where 11 opens the door and then she kind of walks through and sees what's inside the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another sort of like reveal. It's a bit more minor, but it's still, to the faithful, it's pretty big.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, I'm glad that we are closing this loop, but that feels like a bit of a studio note to me. Like, I feel like people are like I feel like some people at Netflix are very switched on social media. They're like, huh, they did that random episode back in the day of season 2, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and people are clamoring for it. No, maybe not clamoring. Maybe clamoring is the wrong word, but like people are talking about like how that lost sort of like plot line.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're just like let's tie this off a little bit.
I have heard that was a backdoor pilot. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed. I've heard like it was a rumored backdoor pilot for a spinoff because they are like Stranger Things is not done. They are doing like a Nancy Wheeler spinoff. They have a Broadway play. Like I think they were going to try to spin off Stranger Things with Collie, I guess. But
which to me is a bit of a. I think I'm done after this a little bit. Like in terms of just like I really like the show, unless they take the Nancy Wheeler show in a bit of a radically different direction, like genre and everything,
like Nancy Drew or something.
Yeah, something like that, like a detective story. I think Nancy's great in this season. I think Nancy gets some like really high highs.
She has, I think, some of the craziest like arc from where, because like I said, we're rewatching it from the beginning. So to think of Nancy in season 4 with a shotgun, just like unloading into Vecna, it's like, that's crazy from the girl who was like, I need a study for my test, and now she's like racking up shotguns and not giving a fuck about the 2 men fighting over her that she has had a relationship with both. She's like, I don't give a fuck. And it's just racking up shotguns and stuff. Like I do like Nancy's, because I think some people forget that in the first season, justice for Barb was like a huge thing on social media.
Huge.
It was
I
massive.
keep waiting for her to show up again. I know she's going to show up again. She has to.
I like the actress Shannon Purser. She's pretty cute, actually. Like I've always like thought that Barb was a pretty cool, not a cool character, because she's kind of just there to be like the foil to Nancy's good time.
She's not very developed. Yeah.
No, but Barb was just she is like she's the not the final girl, but like that first kill in every Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. I love who I love like kind of like what she represents, but I think I bring her up because like not only has Vecna attacked Will and attacked other family members of the Wheelers over the years and in this season, but there's this whole thing with Barb that it's like and Nancy had to like lie to her parents and make up reasons why she's dead, like huge. So I think like for Nancy,
that feels. I'm so sorry to cut you off, and I'll be very quick. That feels real compared to what we're doing now. Like like that feels a lot more interesting than what we're doing now. A little bit.
What like? I don't mean like specifically. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, just a teenager attending high school, and then her friend disappears / dies, and like having to really, really deal with that. It doesn't feel like we're dealing with things as serious anymore. Even though stakes, even though the stakes have been ratcheted up times infinity, right? It doesn't like that. That feels a bit more real and a bit more relatable to me. I mean, I've never had a friend who died in high school and I had to
eaten by a monster. Yeah,
right. But I mean, like that feels like something that when you're watching it, you feel for Nancy. You're just like, damn, like she's having to deal with a lot. In addition to Mike going out on all these adventures. So
no, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, you were on a heater, and I completely interrupted.
Oh, no. Well, I'm just going to jump into spoiler free thoughts quickly, and then we can get into specific moments. Like, cause I want to talk about the specific part so bad, but I don't want to, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But I think that overall, like my general, cause like you said, we had a poll in the after party about these first 4 episodes, and it was like, the good thing is nobody said nah. I put yeah, nah, or meh, and nobody was nah. It was either yay or mid. And
the yays won, by the way, but pretty big margin. Yeah,
excellent. I didn't even because at one point there was like a couple of days and nobody voted, and I was like, oh shit, well, whatever. And then I saw it later on; it was picking up momentum, and I'm like, nice. I think that it is mid to good so far. I think that the first 4 episodes have to explain and set up a ridiculous amount of stuff. And this is not a spoiler, but there is an 18-month gap between season 4 and season 5. Been a year and a half. There's a gap between those episodes, which is, it explains away part of the reason of why the cast is getting so much older, why they look so much older. And it also gives a reason to, like, Hawkins was devastated after season 4. So, and to return to any kind of level of normalcy, we do need that time gap to fix things and literally like repair, Hawkins. So overall, I definitely think I enjoyed it, especially the 4th episode. I think is probably the best one so far. Not just for that finale, but for like a lot of the character moments and stuff. I like the 4th episode a lot. But the beginning of it, where we're setting up like what the crawl is and what the plan is now and how we've been doing it. At first I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this. And then as it went on and I'm like, oh, they've been doing these crawls they've done like 30
clearing sections of the upside down
upside down. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it explains like what they've been doing this whole time. And they're trying to figure out like why Vecna has gone like MIA. I was like, that's pretty cool. And this is all just set up. It's not really spoiling anything. This is stuff you find in the first 10 minutes of the first episode. And I enjoyed cause at first it's like 18 months, like, holy shit. Like, what the fuck have they been doing for 18 months? And that's kind of where the group is like, bro, what are we doing? Like, it's over. We're done. Like, we need to, pack it up and go home. And the fact that there's still like this whole experience has traumatized members of the group so much that they can't just like let it go, that they have to know that Vecna's actually gone. I thought that was pretty cool. And there's still a lot to be, answered for, and also from Lucas as well. Cause I like Lucas, even though Lucas is really not in this first part, like a shit ton. I do like his character because he has a lot of skin in the game. And, for them not to find Vecna would mean to close the door on what has been going on with Max forever and get no resolution to that.
I like Lucas in relation to his connection with Max. I'm not really interested in anything else outside of Lucas, but I think he's best when he's with Max. By the way, Lucas fucking got a glow up this season, man.
Oh, bro.
Laptop.
Well, I loved him in because when season 1, when they get attacked in the school, he's got the wrist rocket and like launches that thing at the Demogorgon, and he's a bad motherfucker. But I like what they've done with him in this season so far is he's basically kind of a tent pole for Max and where she is and what's going on with her. And I think that ultimately, like, I went mad because go back and watch the first season of Stranger Things, even the second season of Stranger Things, go back and watch them and then watch 3, 4, and 5. And there is a crazy distinctive change after like season 2, where like season 3, like it feels like like an indie show. The first season feels like a great indie show that's about kids it's about kids for adults. And somewhere along the way, the show became, well, it's a show about kids, kind of for kids. And it's starting to become like a bit of like a young adult novel is the best way I can describe it. And that is something that kind of concerns me about it, is that as much as I love, because I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. I've got posters, I've got coffee cups, I've got pops. You know, I own the first season on physical media, which we'll get into, by the way. But that first season felt like a true like Stephen King novel. Like I was like, bro, this is it feels like Stephen King meets E.T. That's what everybody was saying about that first season of Stranger Things. Like, bro, this feels like, you know, Stranger Things meets E.T., which I totally agreed with. But now it's getting to this point where I feel like it's getting into this Disneyfication of
I'm so glad you said this.
Yeah, we're taking the fangs out of everything, and we won't kill anybody. I feel like no characters are at risk. I feel like there's no real, like, somebody will probably die in season 5, well, you know, but that's
even the Wheelers. What happens with the Wheelers? And again, it's not staying in the spoiler territory here, but they kind of wiped that away, because I was like, oh, they're doing this. They like the way that really kind of kicks off. I was like, shit, dude, like they're doing this, and then you know, it kind of makes everything a bit more inconsequential, because you're also taking away power from the Demogorgon and the ferocity of the Demogorgon as well, which we're supposed to be terrified of.
They're turning into like the putties from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where it's like, you're just a pawn. You know, you're not. How do you go from being the first season's big bad to like you are nothing but a pawn at the end of the series? And the show is just inconsistent with how they treat the Demogorgon as a threat, because it's like, you know, you're telling me this drunk housewife can put up a fight against a Demogorgon, but towards the end of the season, we have like full military men who can't take down one Demogorgon. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I let that go. I let that go because, again, no spoilers or anything, because it's one of those things of like mother lifting her car to save her baby sort of thing. So I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna apologize every time I cough too.
No, you're right. You're sick. You can't help it.
Yeah, like I kind of let it go because I was just like, she's looking after her kid. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe just one of those things of like, yeah, it is very inconsistent.
You got a hand
because
wave.
like but even at the end, like we do show the ferocity and the power of the Demogorgon, like when they are ripping soldiers, unnamed soldiers, to pieces. But at that point, you're just like, okay, cool, like things are happening, because these are none of these characters who are dying are people that we care about.
Right, exactly. And I think that because I like Cara Buono a lot. She's Chris's wife in Sopranos after he splits up with Aide. She's the one who marries Chris and has the baby. She's in Sopranos.
Oh wow.
I like her a lot. I've always had like a crush on her, and she's I like her as an actor a lot. And but I think that like I said, the inconsistencies of the threat of like the Demogorgon are kind of like, but you know, you can hand wave some of it. But you know, all in all, like as a season, like I feel like the characters are in a pretty good spot. I don't hate anything about the way that the characters are. I think that the military presence and how they're present is very fucking cool. I thought that was one of the coolest parts of the whole season of what Linda Hamilton pops up. Not a spoiler. She's in the fucking cast. You can Google it.
Right. She's the legacy actor that we've got for this season.
Yeah. But I think that, you know, like you said, like you touched on, the plans, you know, we don't feel any kind of threat about any of our characters, even though literally like a somewhat major, somewhat minor character is basically kidnapped, which is not a spoiler. It's in the fucking name of the goddamn episode. The Vanishing of Blank is the name of the episode. And there's like, doesn't feel like there's a lot of consequence. And, you know, as you know, I felt kind of meh about, I would say like meh to good about it now that I've gone back and had some time to like sit on it.
Right.
I still don't love where it is, but I like where it's going, and I could love it.
For me, I completely agree with you with the lack of consequence. I don't think I bump into it as much, only because it is the first 4 episodes. So like there is still plenty of time for some bloodshed or, you know, like an emotional sort of like moment. I'm waiting for this season's running up the hill moment. Like, you know,
right.
Granted, like no one died in the running up the hill moment, but it was just such a corner piece or whatever of that season.
No, absolutely. And I think we're all kind of waiting. We've had a little bit of that moment where not the running up that hill moment, but we've had a little bit of that, you know, now we're seeing new things from characters, and we're seeing what certain characters are capable of, and we have kind of tapped into what is cool. And I feel like ultimately, you know, where the characters are doesn't really bug me. I think how the story is progressing, there's like, you know, a shit ton of exposition in this first like 4 episodes, to the point that like when in the first like 30 minutes where they're explaining the crawl and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is a lot, man. And it's like, this is how you're starting the season back. Like, this is a lot to ask of even me. Like, I feel like a big Stranger Things fan. Like, this is a big ask to figure out like what the fuck is going on. But once it got a little bit more, you know, that the fact that the crawls are not like, you know, yeah, we're going out, but they're like, bro, we are burnt out on doing these, you know? So I don't hate, excuse me. I don't hate where, you know, we've started in or left off, but I think that the show needs to have a lot more walk and a lot less talk, like going forward. I think, you know, there needs to be a lot more, of, you know, characters getting their comeuppance and getting their licks in. And, you know, I just think they've somewhere along the way, this became a young adult novel of a TV show. And, you know, I don't mind YA novels, you know, they're fun, but I'm a 35-year-old man, and I don't necessarily want to see a kid get his guts ripped out. But it's like Stranger Things kind of cops out almost every season by adding a character and killing them off in the same season. And I think that's fucking lazy. And I don't like it.
I completely agree.
You know, first season it's Barb, second season it's Bob, third season it's Billy, fourth season it's Eddie. And it's like, bro, like you're just adding these characters just to kill them off. And I think it's just utterly ridiculous that like you want a death, but you don't want to have the weight of it. And, I think they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, and I just don't agree with that. You know, I don't want to see Winona Ryder get her head chopped off, but like, no. You know, I you know, but I want to know that some of these kids are actually, you know, the closest that it's come to is Max at the end of season 4, and I think that's fine. But they kind of like, oh, we killed her. Wait, no, 11 brought her back with the power of friendship. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like that really kind of annoyed me. But I'm digging it so far. I love Murray's character, that he's like the mule, that he's sneaking stuff into Hawkins. I love it, is really cool. I just love that actor from The Other Guys and Fleabag. He's Brett so Gelman. Good.
You come back here and you make love to my wife.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's like 13 miles. No, great actor. And he's good in dramatic stuff. He's good in comedic stuff. And the fact that he's not just like a comedic film over the whole this season is like some levity. It's the fact that he actually gets involved and like does things to help the group, I think is really cool. He seems like a very nice guy. Apparently he had a pretty rough go of it, that actor. like before he got into acting. Like if from what I remember, like he had a pretty rough go of like, I think he had a couple of brothers like pass away, and then he was living like paycheck to paycheck and like didn't think he was going to make it as an actor. And I guess he spoke out against some of the productions he was on because they were toxic and just weren't very healthy. And he was kind of blacklisted for a while from what I read. And then eventually he kind of got his break in comedy and really came out with a passion. And I'm like, good for you, man. I like him a lot. But that's my spoiler free thoughts. I definitely want to start jumping into like what our highlights are of the season and, you know, what we like about it so far. And what we're looking forward to. Obviously we can't go into what we're looking forward to in these future episodes, without spoiling what's going on in season 5 right now. So that's your warning. Jump into the spoilers. If you don't want to hear them, get the fuck out. I think that the first thing that I want to talk about, like what I mentioned with physical media, is because Zoheb and I were talking, because I've got the first season on DVD and Blu-ray. And Zoheb was even like, oh, there's Stranger Things physical media? And I'm like, yes and no. So they did... The first season, you know, I guess they didn't know how huge it was going to be. So Target had like an exclusive physical copy thing. So that's where I picked mine up at, was a Target exclusive. And then the second season, they did a very limited release of the second season on DVD and Blu-ray. And they have not dropped season 3 or 4 on physical media, even though it's been 5-6 years, because they want you to keep watching it on Netflix. You know, if you buy it on the physical media, you're not going to need your Netflix subscription because it's probably the most popular show on Netflix, you know, next to like Breaking Bad.
No, it definitely is.
So that kind of annoyed me, that like I want to buy it because I don't really watch Netflix except Breaking Bad and Stranger Things. And I'm like, I have the ad supported plan, and I'm shelling out $8 a month, and I can't even cast it to my Chromecast on my TV. They don't let you cast it if you.
I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, it's spectacularly cheap of Netflix, and I'm like, after Stranger Things is done, I'm canceling my fucking Netflix. I'll just buy Breaking Bad. But getting into spoilers, the first thing that I wanted to talk about off the rip, just a minor thing, is the Vecna redesign, bro. That fucking, I love his redesign. Like I love the way Vecna looks. I love the rearmament. You know, the fact that from where he got hurt in like the first season, he knows like, okay, well, I can be physically attacked. So I need to have like straight up armor now. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I love the redesign, and I love the fact that he's basically missing. Vecna is basically missing from the entire volume 1 until like the last 15 minutes. And when he shows up, he fucking shows up. Like I really actually love what they've done with Vecna, even in like the very teeny tiny small amount of time that we got with him in volume 1. I think they've done really well with not the character so much, but like what he is capable of and what exactly, you know, the fact that it's not just the same old Vecna that they hit with a Molotov cocktail and shot with a shotgun. It's a re-armored, you know, bigger threat than season 4. And I think that's pretty cool that they, it's pretty cool that they held him off from so long in this first volume. And when they do drop him, he looks incredible. And also he just absolutely slaughters in that last scene of volume 1. I thought he did like such a good job, basically ripping ass the whole time. I was like, that is just fantastic. I thought they did such a good job with, him, in redesigning him. And also like, they're like, wait, okay, drop him now. And when they drop him, like, that's fucking awesome. They did a really good job with Vecna, I feel like.
No, they did. They did an awesome job, and I'm.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry for what's been going on while you're talking. I had a bit of a camera issue for some reason. My camera just keeps disconnecting, so I had to plug in a new one. And Paul Collins just been vamping. I've been trying to sort out some camera bullshit. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. Technical
yeah,
difficulties.
Oh, dude, literally, and I can't put it on my fucking little tripod thing, so you're gonna have to look at me like this. I'm so sorry. I thought, yes, I thought the redesign was awesome.
So it'd be better if you just put your penis back in your pants and stop flopping it while you're talking.
Oh my goodness! It won't stay, and it's fucking making me laugh at the same time because you poor thing, you're just like, I'm gonna vamp. Well, his technical issues are fucking sorted, and like they're just currently ongoing right now. I don't know why my camera's not turning on. I think it's just my computer's just not charging it. Like it should charge at the same time. Like it shouldn't just be using its battery. But anyway, oh Jesus. Sorry, yes, Vecna. I really enjoyed the redesign as well. I was not expecting it. I thought it was very like you said, like Armor. He feels like a, or he looks like a souped up version of like the Flood. from Halo. That's a bit of a reference for you, Colin.
Oh yeah, love Halo.
Yeah. I with Vecna, and we are in spoiler territory, right? Did I miss? Yes.
No, yeah, we have crossed that. We are in the Upside Down now.
That reveal at the end of episode 2 or episode 3, where it's revealed that like Holly is speaking to goddamn Vecna the whole time, or Henry.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how fucking stupid do they think we are?
Yeah.
Like truly, like he's dressed like Henry, and like it's just like this big like reveal, and I turn to Steph, I'm like, as it's happening, like the mystery of like who's this Mr. What's-it? I'm like, this can't be Henry. It's too obvious, right? Like it has to be a new character or like a new element. And then like lo and behold, it's Henry, and it's like this big reveal. And I was just like, what are we doing here? How fucking stupid do you think the audience is right now? Like who else can like alter like reality and like the mind of children? What are we doing? What are we doing? You know?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Brenner. I'm like, oh, he survived season 4. Like somehow he is like it. I think the way they.
I'm also really missing Matthew Modine. Like he was like my favorite elements of like the earlier seasons, dude.
Bro, I love. You have a terrible wound, 11, and like he's so good. And now I think he is dead. I think into season 4, they're like, no, like Brenner is 100% dead. But yeah, no, the reveal of that was very like, wow, you don't break an arm jerking yourself off there. Like, you know, it's fine. I mean, I think we all kind of expected that this 6 foot tall white guy with a pocket watch, who the fuck else would that be? You know, like, I don't know who they thought they were fooling. And luckily I think if they had set that up and been like, we're going to reveal like one of the big reveals is going to be that it's Vecna. Like, thankfully it's not like a huge reveal. It's kind of minor, but I'm like, bro, if you'd have milked that any longer, that really would have pissed me off, because I mean, it's already kind of silly.
I know.
But like if you would have milked that any longer, I definitely would have been pretty pissed off. But I think that, you know, not only his redesign and him showing up, but I do like the idea of him going after Holly, you know, because that's apparently Vecna's thing, is he wants these 12 kids for whatever reasons. They haven't really gone into exactly what it is. But the, like, why specifically Holly? Like, is it like a revenge thing against Mike and like the group? Like, why is it that he's specifically going after these 12 kids when he could grab like basically anybody? I wonder exactly like what is the exact reason why he's taking the kids that he's taking? Because I've heard some
he
theories.
talks about them being like weak-willed, right?
Right. Exactly. Like Will, like he even says to Will, he's like, you were the first and you were so easy to break. But I think that I feel like there's going to be something revealed with like why he's taking the kids that he's taking, that they have some kind of like problem or secret or something. Like, I wonder exactly what exactly the issues are that he comes after Holly. Of all the kids in Hawkins, he takes one of the main cast members' siblings. So I'm interested to see, why exactly he's grabbing them. But I like the fact that they brought Holly a background character for all intents and purposes. That they bring her to the forefront and make her a little bit more of an actual character, even if she is kind of basically just like, I'm a little girl and I like playing with stuff. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess like that is true. I don't think she has like a shit ton of like, she's kind of like a MacGuffin. I don't think she has a shit ton of like character involvement going on. She's kind of more of like a plot device. But at the same time, like, I think that the later parts of season 5 will probably show her fulfilling that role of like Holly the heroic. Like that's what I'm excited about, is like, the fact that she, much like Lucas's sister Erica, that she's kind of now becoming, like, it's like when in SNL, when they go from just like a guest to like a featured player, I'm like, nice. Now she's like a featured player.
I think definitely Max will teach Holly some things, where they are right now, because we leave them there, don't we?
Yeah. Well, yes, she tells Holly, she's like, basically like, you're going to have to go back to the Vecna house and stay there, even though he's this awful person. Like, I need you to be on the inside, and like, if you just stay here with me, we're never going to get out of here. So there's a lot of meat on that bone when it comes to what's going on with Max and Holly, because there's a book that they keep referencing in this volume 1 is called A Wrinkle in Time. And right. So, and there's a lot of like other dimensional, like time travel-y kind of stuff in that. And I'll tell you right now, if this show goes the route of time travel, it's going to be the biggest fucking letdown for me. Like, do not go back and like time travel this show. And because I have a gut feeling they're going to try to go back and stop all of this from ever happening. And I'm like, no, do not do that, dude. And Endgame barely pulled it off. If it wasn't for that huge fucking battle at the end and getting to like actually hear Cap say assemble and stuff, like, and seeing Ant-Man or Giant Man crush that fucking thing, like, it would not have worked.
I think Endgame's perfect, but I agree with you. I'm so sorry to cut you off. I agree with you. The time travel thing will be a bit of like an ex machina of like, what are we doing? Like it's just like a screenwriting corner they've like kind of like put themselves into. The reason why we both probably think it's heading that way, and I think there are a few people who, some of the audience definitely thinks it's heading that way, is because of the interdimensional travel, right? I mean, like we've done traveling through space, so it's not that far away for us to say we can travel through time. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, let's not do this. Like, we're spending $400 million this season, and we've already like de-CGI'd some of Will Byers' face, and it's not good, man. I
gotta say, I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, and it's like that. Let me rephrase this. I don't love it. I don't think it looks great. But I think the way that I think that the bar for doing that is, Peter Cushing in Rogue One.
Right.
The way that they keep him in shadow and reflected. And I think that's what I like about Will's kind of de-aging in this, that I don't hate it because I think it looks decent, but they keep it's very dark in the Upside Down. Sure. And I was like, okay, if you had this under harsh light, I would hate it. But like, it's believable, but just barely.
No, I completely agree. Can we talk about Hopper? I have a bit of a bone to pick with Hopper. Hopper's my favorite, one of my favorite characters in the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
But we've kind of like resorted to him, and in connection with 11, kind of grinding our gears a little bit. Like we're not doing anything new with them. Like their relationship is the reason why the show works. I think as well as it does. The last moment with Hopper, where he's kind of got the Arab suicide vest on, the
yeah,
the
yeah.
The man of my people, the vest on. And he says, what did he say? He says goodbye, Jane, or something, right? And he's just like that really hits. That really hits. And the problem that I have with Hopper and 11 this season around, it's just like we're in the final season. Hopper is actively with Joyce training 11 to be, like agile and like use the powers well. But we're still doing the thing of like Hopper is not letting 11 loose. Like, and I know it's at odds with his, he doesn't want to lose his daughter again, right? Like, which is what he says. But like, we can't keep doing this. Like, why are you training her then? Like, why are you like actively like? Because I know that's based on the insistence of 11, right? 11 wants to train. 11 wants to hone her powers and stuff like that, and Hopper's just kind of like having to go with it because, she's his child. But like, I don't know. I'm over that element of like, why are we still like, caging her up? And I know it's going to be like a big, massive like moment of like him saying like, go get her, go get him or something. I don't know. But
I think to your point, the way I feel like that would work better is if it was reversed and it was 11 who was like, like, because Hopper has already gone through that of like losing 11 and I don't want to lose you again and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But 11 has had to deal with all of season 4, Hopper being in Russia and thinking he's dead. So like, I would actually kind of like it if it was reversed.
Me too.
And it was 11 who's more like, why don't you, like, I'm training so hard because I want you to stay here and me to go and do the crawl. Because every time you go in there, the more of these crawls you do, the higher the probability of you not coming back from one. And sure as shit, that's what happens on this crawl at the beginning of season 5. So I like I like the kind of tension, but I think it just the current needs to be reflowed. They need to send that current back because 11 has now had to lose, so many people in her life and be the centerfold of this, universe. And she's being hunted by, the government and stuff. That like, I agree that like it works. But it's like, okay, yeah, we have kind of like beat this thing to death since like season 3, of, keeping the door open 3 inches and stuff. And like Dad Hopper, where he's got the gut and he's got the flower. That was such a huge thing when that came out.
Loved it. Loved it. I also think like we need a bit more, and I know exactly what we're doing. We're doing the last season, like everything's so dark and dour and whatever. Like, goddamn, what's getting Matarazzo's character's name again?
Dustin.
Dustin getting absolutely fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I know that we're doing like everything is fucking dark and deadly, whatever. But the show is best when it has fun. But one of my favorite moments is like the start of season 3 with like, I think it's 3 or whatever, when like Max and 11, they're getting ready to go to the mall and like all that stuff. And I know we've kind of like left all that behind because we're dealing with bigger stuff now. But like, we need to go back to finding, like, to having a bit of fun, like, I don't know. I just feel like everything's a bit doom and gloom right now.
Right. It's like, it's Zack Snydery for the sake of being Zack Snydery.
Exactly. Yes. It is the Snyder aesthetic of just like, the kids are older now and the stakes are world ending and like no one's having fun. But the show is at its best when they're all having fun. And they're all like kind of like riffing off each other. And I feel like the riffing that happens in this season is very stilted and very like jagged. Like Robin provides a lot of laughs, but like again, very stilted, very jagged. Like nothing feels very, because Robin has to talk to Will a lot, and Will is, as we'll get to, saddled with a lot of plot. So
yeah, Well, and I think to your point, I think that the show works best when, because now all of our cast is drinking age, and I think that's one of the reasons why bringing Erica and Holly up into the group is our tension is still there. Like, it is not as good of a movie if all those kids are 19 years old, right. But when your whole cast is 12, that's a little bit more of okay, got to be careful,
Erica is exactly what I want in this show. Like, when we're with Erica and we're doing the, I know I said I wasn't,
that whole family,
right? I know I said I wasn't high on those episodes, but like the way that we kind of pull that off is actually pretty enjoyable, in terms of like what we're doing. I also wanted to talk to you about what do you think about the reveal of Carly /8 coming back into the fold, and what are your like? We won't like save our predictions or anything to the end. We'll talk about them as we go. But what do you think we're doing with a Carly /8?
And I'll be honest, I did not mind the Carly subplot in season 2, and I feel like it's. I feel like I'm that one dude, the Norman Rockwell painting of the guy standing up in the group and saying something,
right.
because 11 is a character. Like, I've always loved 11 because, it's a weird, like, how do I say this delicately? Like a slave kind of character that she was made. Like, you're owned by a bunch of, people in white lab coats, and you will do what we say when we say it. And if you don't,
she's never had agents,
you,
which is another reason I bump up against the Hopper situation.
Right. But, she's constantly being told, like, what to do and where to go and who to fight by people, by some dude, whether it's Brenner, whether it's Hopper, whether it's Mike. And I think for her to leave Hawkins and find, some kind of, because it's a bit like, where this, these 80s movies where a beautiful alien woman falls from the sky and falls in love with some loser because that's all she knows. And it's like, 11 needs to be, I think for Mike and 11, that, to give her time to kind of figure out what exactly she wanted outside of Hawkins and outside of Mike, and with her own agency, I think is super important. Now, do I think they did it in a super great way in season 2? Like, not really. They probably could have done it. They probably could have ditched the Target brand, gang that Carly is in, because those people were just so generic and one note and two dimensional. It sucked. But I think it's also important to remember that Carly is not like 11. Carly has like manipulation powers, that it's Carly who can make people see things that are not there. She I don't think she can move stuff with her mind and like throw things. She's more Charles Xavier versus where 11 and Vecna and now Will are more like Magneto. And I think Carly is a super important character in the sense of like, if they've had her there, why do they have her there? Like, what are the reasons? And I wonder if they're trying to use Carly to mentally manipulate Vecna and to get him into some kind of state that, like, or like, but it's also like that in turn doesn't make any sense, because I feel like one of my big gripes of this season is the government being like, we're after the girl. She must be the one doing this. I'm like, really? Really? Are we still doing this whole thing?
Right.
Because this little girl has closed the gate in season 2. She killed the fucking mind flayer in season 3. Season 4, I don't even remember what happened. She decimates Vecna in season 4. She fucks him up. Like, they get into that fight and she goes in and saves Max from California. And we're still doing this thing of like the government thinks she's the bad guy.
Right.
And it's like, I think if she wanted to fuck your world up, she'd have done it by now. It's been 9 goddamn years. Shut the fuck up. Like, And that's what annoys me is it's not the military. Like, I would have loved if they'd have flipped the script and be like, we're after this girl. She's wanted. And when they capture her, they're like, no, we need your help. Like, we're not here to hurt you. Like, but we like, you have to, like, a bit of a Suicide Squad thing of like,
Sure.
you can either help us or you can go sit with your sister in a supermax prison, you know, like that I think would be more interesting. But it's the fact that Linda Hamilton's character, fucking Dr. Halsey from Halo, basically, that her whole thing is like, we think she's the one responsible. I'm like, are we really fucking thinking that? Like,
Right.
This is so dumb. And like, that's where I think that with Kali, they're going to like use her as more of a weapon. Either they wanted to use her against 11 or they wanted to use her against Vecna, but I don't see the latter because they act like they don't even know that Vecna fucking exists, which is outrageous.
What was there was a really quick moment of just like, I'm so sorry because you've seen this twice. So I'm just looking for your help a little bit. There's a moment where I can't remember who it was, but they find out that like the government is using Vecna, or Vecna is like hostage to the government. Am I remembering this wrong? I thought there was a moment.
You're talking about like when he's still Henry Creel, like a human?
No. I thought that there was a moment when they're in the Upside Down in the current time period, and someone says that Vecna is. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but like he's subservient to the government, or he's being used by the government, or something like that. I don't know.
I've heard people think that he is like subservient to the Mind Flayer. That I've heard.
I've heard that
some
too.
people.
I've heard that too.
Some people. Yeah, that some people
Which
think that it is not.
I'm not keen on. Like, we've set Vecna up to be this be all and end all thing, and I don't want him to be a patsy,
a pawn. Yeah. Well, I go back and forth on that because in like, I actually don't think I would hate that. I don't think I would hate the fact that the Mind Flayer was like, you were so miserable that I know basically what Vecna did to Will is what the Mind Flayer did to Vecna. That's what I think, because, and this is another one of the annoying things with where we're at with Stranger Things is there's a Broadway play called The First Shadow. Stranger Things Broadway play. Apparently it's really good, but that either directly contradicts or just like doesn't make any sense with the canon of Stranger Things, because
it's on Netflix.
I'm not going
to, right? Or it's like the behind the scene is on Netflix of that show. I saw something.
I think so. Yeah. And I just went to YouTube and listened to a breakdown of it, and it is kind of fucking ridiculous because it goes like, it's Hawkins in 1959 and Joyce, Hopper, Eddie Munson's dad, Steve Harrington's dad, Bob Newby from season 2, all of them go to the same high school in Hawkins. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And I'm like, this is kind of fucking silly.
I think we're actually heading in that direction, actually, to be honest, because don't we get a quick flashback of Holly? Is it Holly in school where Joyce is? There's a really quick flashback.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's Joyce. It's there was someone else too.
I think that's Steve Harrington's dad that he like crumbles up the thing and throws it.
Sure. But it's definitely Joyce. And we might be heading in that direction. I don't think we're done with that.
No, I don't think so either, because the date on the flyer is November 6, 1959. That's the exact date Will Byers goes missing in 1983. So I'm super excited to see like how they're going to tie all this stuff up together. But the ridiculous thing from that play is like that play, and the Duffer Brothers have come out and said that it is canon, that the play directly contradicts the fact that, you know, because in season 4 we see Vecna and he's like shaping the Mind Flayer, and basically he tapped into like the Force, which was just this unbothered floaty thing, and he's weaponizing it for which is cool. But the play basically sets it up to where like it's the opposite, that it is the Mind Flayer who's manipulating Vecna, and that it's allowing him to kind of use it because he thinks he's top dog. And the Mind Flayer's like, I can't go into that world. I need a physical agent, like how Pennywise used Henry Bowers, which I do think is cool. I do think it's cool, but I think that there's something more interesting about.
I'm so glad you brought up Pennywise, because I got some shit to talk about.
Oh yeah. I think that I wouldn't hate it if Vecna was like, oh, I was manipulated by the Mind Flayer. I'm like, I don't hate it. But at the same time, like you said, for all of this setup, and then in the last 4 episodes, we're going to go, nope, it's not the Mind Flayer, or not Vecna, it's the Mind Flayer. Mind Flayer's the bad guy the whole time. Like, I don't know, because I like the idea of Vecna tapping into this, like, black powder power that's just floating around. And also,
Jesus, I'm glad you added powder between
black powder. Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, tapping into the black power. There's also like the show, and this is just something very briefly, the show is starting to get its canon and lore very complicated, because apparently there's different. So like where we see Vecna and he's flying through the air in season 4 and he's getting electrocuted and he shapes the Mind Flayer. That's not the Upside Down. Apparently that's something called Dimension X. And that's different.
Are you fucking
I'm
kidding
not even
me,
kidding
dude?
you. I'm not even kidding you. And like, that's part of what the play taps
Where'd you read
into.
this?
Oh, it's all like I think it's from that Stranger Things play. And I've heard this, look up Stranger Things Dimension X, and it is not the Upside Down. It's something different. And it makes sense, because the Dimension X is just rocks and it just looks like Arizona, like there's no Hawkins, there's no city, and the Dimension X does look very different from the Upside Down. Basically, the play contradicts an insane amount of shit, and it goes into the fact that when Vecna was a little boy, he got taken to Dimension X through a military experiment, and he comes back weeks later and his blood has been changed. They take his blood, and that's how they start making the test subjects in Hawkins' lab. So they retcon this whole thing of Eleven's mom being an MK Ultra baby, and she gives birth to a kid with powers. They basically retcon all of that. And I'm like, dude, they should have never done that stupid fucking play, because I'm like, it contradicts and complicates so much stuff in the Stranger Things lore that didn't need to be changed. And it presents Vecna as more of a sympathetic kind of victim, and not so much because he's in love with Bob's younger sister, and the newbies, their dad is the vice principal and I'm like, bro, like, you're making this world shrink and shrink and shrink. Like, this world feels so small now. So I don't know if, like, maybe the pushback from Stranger Things, the play, will be so bad that they'll just say, okay, it's not canonical. It's just a fun little, please do that. Because this whole thing with Dimension X, because now there's the Upside Down, Dimension X, there's that weird black mind place that Eleven goes to when she's looking for people. And then we also go inside Vecna's head in season 4, where Max escapes from. And now we have all these memories where Max is running through. And I'm like, bro, this is getting kind of complicated. And I'm a little burnt out on that. So I hope that they just kind of hand wave the play, and it's not, because I was looking for answers for the last week. I'm like, bro, I'm going to hit the books. I'm delivering pizzas. I'm going to be fucking listening to YouTube the whole time. And I went through and listened to it, and I was just like, this is so fucking stupid. And I'm like, please just I hope they ignore all of this, because this is
ridiculous, man. We need to get back to simplicity. That's when the show is humming.
Yes.
Like,
Right.
By the way, wow, that was an absolute tear that you went on. And I'm sorry. I'm just like,
oh yeah.
I'm processing all this, but like, I can't stop thinking about, again, just the scripts for these episodes think that we are retarded. Like the whole like, oh, I've used math in school to figure out what's at the center of the circle, and it's Hawkins' lab, and it's just like, oh, okay. Like,
right.
All right, man. Like, we're going back to the lab. Great.
Which I don't hate that, but what I hate even more is when Dustin is explaining this to everyone and Steve goes, all right, yeah, cool. Like, in English, please. I'm like, Jesus Christ, stop doing that. Like, any TV show, not just any TV show where, like, we have a character who wants to break down and explain, hey, I found in the Upside Down, Hawkins' lab is the source. I'm like, that's cool. I don't even mind the math and the whole triangulating.
I don't mind that at all.
Like, I don't mind that one bit because it's a small, hey, I have a piece of paper here and I can show you. That I'm fine with. What I can't stand anymore is the let's paint a whole fucking wall, because it's like, that's how we show, like when Will paints what he sees in Vecna, I was like, bro, you could have done that on a piece of paper. Like, you don't need to paint the whole side of a goddamn barn. And that is something
it took like fucking 17 hours, Will. Like, come on.
Bro. Like, you can't just explain it through words. Like, fucking Christ. But what I can't stand anymore is, an English professor, and I'm like, I can't, it makes me want to put a gun in my mouth. I hate that bro, this is Stranger Things. It's supposed to be kind of complicated a little bit. Like,
the static between, Dustin and Steve doesn't feel, where the fuck did this come from? Like, I feel like that they've been very, I mean, I don't know. Like, I thought towards the end of season 4 that they were very, like, collegiate and, like, very friendly with each other, and they were best mates. And now we're just kind of like, I don't know if this is, like, teen bullshit that we're trying to, like, write into these episodes now, but, like, I don't know. It's a microcosm of, like, what's wrong with the show overall. It's just like we're really trying to over-engineer conflict between a lot of these guys. And I feel like the Dustin and Steve Harrington stuff works so well, and I love them working together. Because I think they come together in season 2, right, with the demo dogs and stuff. Like, that's where they start really gelling. And I can't believe we're going back to the well of, like, let's separate them again. Like,
Bro, well, and like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head, the conflict for conflict's sake. Because, like, I don't mind where Dustin is as a character. I don't mind it because he's like, Dustin.
I like him being the weird one. It makes total sense for him to be the weird one.
Absolutely. Like, he looks like Patton Oswalt in a mullet. But so Gaten Matarazzo, I saw a quick thing on, like, GQ or Esquire where he was like, one of the things I love my character's relationship with Steve, but I loved more so my character's relationship with Eddie, because Steve gave Dustin the confidence to be cool, but Eddie was the one that told him, was like, you can be cool and not have to change.
Oh, sure.
You don't have to, and I was like, oh, that is a really good point.
Right.
And I think him carrying the torch of, like, the Hellfire Club and doing all the stuff is interesting. Because, like, there's a whole, like, West Memphis 3 thing going on with Eddie in season 4, which I like.
Yes,
the fact that
I love it too. The manhunt and everything.
Yeah. Well, and the Duffer Brothers basically said, they're like, no matter what, Eddie was going to have a very tortured life, because, like, we knew either he was going to die by supernatural means or the town was going to basically, like, lynch him, for this. Like, they were going to fucking kill this guy. Because, like, that's just the way those satanic panic in small southern towns, was. And, the whole thing of basically he was going to fucking have to pay for his shit regardless, even though he didn't do anything. And I like that. And I like where Dustin is. And I like the fact that he's in mourning, but the whole, like, and I like Eddie as a character. I feel like they knew Eddie for about 6 months and we've mourned him for 1.5 years. And I'm a little over it. I'm a little bit over it. And I like, and he does have a heroic sacrifice. He does, like, an incredible thing for, the group.
Incredible moment. Incredible moment at the end of season 4 on top of the caravan. It's so good. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I've seen video of Joseph Quinn and he's practicing with Metallica, with Lars Ulrich, and that like, that is pretty cool.
Johnny Storm,
but I think, but I think that where Dustin is in terms of, like, he's willing to, like, die for Hellfire Club is like, I mean, I would prefer it if it was just more like, he like, not he's being aggressive and putting a snake in a locker and fighting people, but he won't let it, like, I would totally be fine if it's like they're attacking him just for wearing the wearing the Hellfire shirt. And, but instead we get this whole like one man army against the town. And I'm like, I don't buy that, like, from Dustin. I just don't. And I don't mind the conflict between he and Steve, but you're exactly right that some of these characters are having conflict for conflict's sake. And between Jonathan and Steve Harrington is basically not a character in this season. Like, he has almost no agency. He has almost nothing of his own going on besides, I want Nancy and I don't like Dustin. That's it. For like 4 or 5 hours.
I'm completely in agreement with you. And even like the conflict with Jonathan, firstly, I hate fucking love triangles. Like, I just can't deal with it.
Sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, like when Jonathan and Steve kind of like come to blows in, like, I think it's episode 4 or episode 3, and Steve's just like, go for it, dude. Like, she's all yours. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever. I'm just like, that's how we're concluding this. That's how we're concluding this big like conflict that you guys have engineered between like Jonathan and Steve. Like, I don't know. Maybe we're drilling too deep into something that should be surface level, but
no, yeah, I agree. That's what's kind of starting to bother me about it as I getting kind of like into predictions. I definitely think Steve is going to die. Like, I 100%. Like, he or Robin, I think, are going to get the axe.
I'll be very sad if Robin does.
And I think I would be a little bit too, but I'm starting to kind of piece together of like what character has like, for one thing, Robin or Steve have almost no ties to anybody outside the group. Sure. Nobody. Yeah. Like, we never even see Steve. Which sucks
for Steve because he's been in it since episode 1. Like, how do we not have a connection between Steve and any other? I mean, like, Dustin is the connection, but we've now severed that. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, and the fact that there's just no connection to, I think we even see Lucas's parents in season 1 or 2. Like, we actually physically see people outside the group, like Dustin and his mom, and that's like, we understand Dustin is a bastard child who doesn't have a father. No, and that's why he gets kind of attached to Steve. There's a lot of that stuff that I like, but it's the fact that outside of Robin is in a stable relationship. She is being a mentor now. And I bet good money she gets fucking ripped in half because it's a way to, oh, look, we killed a character, but we didn't kill one of the kids. And it's got to be, I don't think like Hopper's too much of a fan favorite. Joyce has children. Sure. It's got to be Robin.
That's what you got
to
do, dude. You got to kill a fan favorite. And it's not, this is not that show. This is not that show to take maybe I'll eat crow come Christmas Day when like the next volume releases. Or New Year's Eve.
They kill all the kids, leave all the adults. That would be fucking hilarious, dude.
That'd be fucking great. The other thing that I really wanted to mention before we do talk about Will, because I think that's how we should sort of wrap it up, is talk about Will.
Absolutely.
I messaged you and I'm like, man, Vecna is coming dangerously close to being Pennywise, and it feels like the snake eating its own tail a little bit. Like, I know that the show used it as a inspiration, but like, man, like the kidnapping / killing of like these weak-willed children, it's tough. It's a tough. It feels like we've been here,
Sure. No,
and this is happening. This is airing at the same time as an It show is airing as well. So it just feels like we are very much in this like thing, and I can't. It's tough. It's tough.
No, I agree, and I think that if you were to make a valid criticism of the whole show in general, including Vecna, including all this stuff, is one of the things that hurts it and also helps it is it's an amalgamation and a hodgepodge of all things 80s. So we're bringing in we're bringing in Nightmare on Elm Street, we're bringing in, all this stuff, E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like so many 80s references that, while that is easy to cash in on, it also does kind of creatively put you in a bit of a box that I think that, and the Duffer Brothers have come out and said that, yeah, like, you know, they were proteges of M. Night Shyamalan, and they were like, we wanted to direct it, and we pitched an idea and they said no, like they wouldn't let us do it, so we wrote Stranger Things. It's what I've always heard, that they basically got rejected for it, so they wrote Stranger Things. And also, I think one of the things that the show, and hold on, because I do need to talk a lot about the Duffer Brothers for a second. I think that one of the things that they've kind of written themselves into a hole with Vecna, and it is very Pennywise, and it is very, I think it's a little bit more Freddy Krueger than it is Pennywise, because, Vecna was from Hawkins. He knew the adults in Hawkins, and he's like, now I'm coming for your fucking kids, like Freddy Krueger. And I'm like, I do kind of like that. I like the whole, like, you knew me as a human, but now I'm this monster and I'm taking your fucking kids. I do kind of like that. But the thing that I don't like.
Yes, I completely agree with that. But I think more the comparison with Pennywise is like the kids are like feeling this presence. And sorry.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. The kids are feeling this presence, and like none of the adults seem to be yet.
Right. No, I agree, especially when it's like half the adults knew him as a teenager. I think the thing that as a whole, that I'm really starting to get my ass kind of chapped at Stranger Things is, I don't know if you read about this, that they are going back and editing previous seasons and adding in stuff, like they're George Lucasing earlier Stranger Things. And at first I was like, what? No, they aren't. And I went back and I watched Stranger Things season 1 on Netflix, not my physical copy, on Netflix. And when Will first gets taken, he falls off the bike and he sees the Demogorgon, they added the clock sound from season 4 with the bang, like they added that in retroactively. And they're trying to say like, oh, well, we knew Vecna was there the whole time. And I'm like, no, he fucking wasn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's nothing wring with like the fact that
it's a George Lucas thing, right?
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a second. That scared me. The fact that we're going back and we're Lucasing Stranger Things, and there's nothing wrong with like, hey, Luke and Leia kiss. We didn't know they were going to be brother and sister. Cool, nothing wrong with that. Like, it's a little weird, but it's a little charming, And now with Stranger Things, is like there's nothing in the show that is made better by adding that stuff. What you're trying to do is like, it's not like a glaring plot hole that needs to be redone. No. Like we're going back and trying to put a silk hat on a pig, and it's like the pig was fine to begin with. It doesn't need the silk hat. Leave it alone.
Well, it's the power of the physical media, right? Like no one can change that DVD that you own.
Yep. That's why I'm so glad I bought that like fucking almost a decade ago, because now they can't change my shit. And that's part of the reason I think they're slow to put out physical media stuff, is they want to melt Netflix subscriptions, and then they want to,
we have to sign up for Netflix. I've never paid for Netflix since we got Netflix, and I've always been like a parasite. Taking my dad's
same,
obviously, like since we moved out, Netflix have had that like, oh, update your household kind of thing, and we're just like, we're just gonna have to bite the bullet. I think it's $25 a month.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I go ad supported, but at the same time, even with ad supported, I can't cast to my TV, so I have to watch it on my laptop and HDMI it into the TV, and I'm like, this is fucking insane.
Crazy.
Ridiculous. But yeah, I think we've pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to talk about besides our finale with Will. And obviously that's setting up. I do want to throw one more thing that I've heard a lot of people throwing around is, in Dungeons and Dragons, like to roll a 20 is like a critical hit. It's like you have to roll a 20 to win in certain situations. And somebody added it up, but they're like, if Will is basically Vecna, if they have the same powers now, Will is number 1, 11 is 11, and Kali is 8, which equals 20. And I was like, oh, that's kind of clever.
Wait,
and I'm like, it might be
Vecna's number 1, right? Oh, are you talking about
Vecna? Right. because Will is now kind of like a reflection of him. And there's even people that think that like Vecna will turn good and help fight the Mind Flayer. And I'm like, okay. Just don't, dude, my only thing is just don't fucking time travel. If they time travel, I'm going to be really pissed at this show. I don't even mind if it's like Vecna was a good guy the whole time. And it's like, well, I don't really believe that, but it's better than fucking time traveling.
Right.
But yeah, our finale, I don't want to just start off with Will's, obvious, character arc, but going back to where Vecna walks through the gate was my favorite part of this whole first, volume 1. Him coming through the gate is so good.
Him coming through the gate is so good. The Demogorgons, fucking up the military is incredible. I know, like they did the one shot single one sort of situation.
Oh, so good,
which looks awesome. I think some of the CG is a little spotty. I mean, it's fine. We're in TV. But like that finale is awesome. Like we're also finding out that like Kali is a thing. And then like you've got Murray. It's Murray, right? Murray driving the truck, flipping it over. It feels a little bit like Star Wars, where Star Wars does the classic three-pronged finale sort of thing.
Right.
Like different characters in different locations, and then like we kind of like bind it by like one sort of like situation, which is obviously Will. And I'm not, and I'm pretty sure you're in agreement here, I don't want to go into Noah Schnapp's politics or background or whatever the fuck. Like, I know
no.
There's so much fucking noise and bullshit around that stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know. Anyway,
he's a fucking child, and it's a guy. I hope somebody doesn't start pulling up shit I said when I was his age.
Literally. But yeah, man, this was huge. This was actually kind of unpredictable. I've been ragging on the show for the last hour and a half now about being predictable, but like this was genuinely like, oh shit. It was the biggest oh shit moment, and it's just like we're doing this. The white eyes. Like the wiping of the blood, and he doesn't get here to put on my critical thinking hoity-toity up my ass film bullshit hat. He doesn't get here without his interactions with Maya Hawke. I think,
right?
I think him finally getting comfortable or becoming more confident with his sexuality, with who he is. I think this really, really unlocks something. And I was like, I see what we're doing here with his interactions with Maya Hawke, and it logically leads here. Right. What were your thoughts?
I agree, and I'm fine with it, but I don't want to see any more of these scenes of like at the end of season 1, when 11, kills the Demogorgon, we have a bit of that of her being like, these are my friends and I believe in blah, blah. Okay, cool. Season 2, 11 closes the gate. I've watched that scene 1,000 times. I like it. Because it's Hopper with an M16 and a shotgun, like fighting off Demodogs as 11 becomes the Jean Grey of like Stranger Things. And that's when, she has the flat.
Dude, I'm so glad you said that, 11. Because I always think about Phoenix, like she looks like Phoenix. Yeah.
There is a massive X-Men influence on the show, 100%. And, as a huge X-Men fan, I'm fine with that. But I think that the whole, let me have a montage of friendship before I tap into this power. I'm done with. I don't want to see it anymore. We saw
the timing of that was, I was just like, what? Like what are we doing?
And I don't mind it with Will so much, but I think the thing I don't, because we had this with Max in season 4 with, she rips Vecna's neck tentacle out and runs and stuff like that, it was an awesome moment. But I'm tired of the whole let me just recap everything that's happened this season in my head real quick, and I'll tap into the power of friendship and get out of this. With Will, I don't mind it even more now because Will has been just a fucking object all of these goddamn seasons.
Yes.
He has no agency. He's never done. The coolest thing he did was shoot that Demogorgon with a rifle in season 1. And I was like, dope. Like, that was cool. Cause you don't see that until this season where he's, he, like, as soon as he sees that thing, he fucking pops it and runs. I was like, that's cool. Like, good for him. Like, it shows he does have agency, and he's not just gonna he's not just gonna lay down and die. But I told Lindsay, I was like, my biggest concern with Will is that if this and last season, his whole character arc is just like, I'm gay, is like, no, I don't want that. And like, I don't care if he's gay, but I just don't want that to be like with Robin. It's a description of her character, but it does not define her. Like it defines her a little bit. It is something where it's like, do you like chocolate or vanilla? Do you like, Chinese food? Do you like Italian? Do you like pussy or you like cock? It's like there's like, it's a preference, and in the 80s it is a huge part of your identity. I understand that, and I do think that that's cool that they tap into that, but I just did not want that to be Will's only thing, because Robin does not allow that to be her only thing that defines her.
And it's not as important, even if it was the only thing that defined Robin. It's not as important because Robin is not the one of the titular characters of the show. Like, right. It matters. It matters that Will. It doesn't define Will because he is right. The a better term, lead.
Right. Well, and just to be blunt about it, like, there's a big difference between being a lesbian in the 80s and being a homosexual man in the 80s. Like, that's very different, because, we had cases like Matthew Shepard and like a lot of, where men were being, hunted for better or worse, and lesbians too, but it means a lot. I think it means a lot different for Will because his group is all guys he grew up with. And that can really fuck up some friend groups, where one of the friends is like, hey, I'm gay. And I'm like, hey, gay, I'm Colin. But that can really fuck up some friend groups. So like, I understand his trepidatious attitude towards all this and being kind of broken, that Mike doesn't have affection for him in a romantic way. So I liked the fact. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Cause he is into Mike, right? Like that's the,
oh, hell yeah.
So Mike has never showed any affection for Will in that way, and I'm kind of wondering where they're gonna go with it from here, because like we do get a shot of Mike being very impressed by Will, and they were rolling around in that wet bathroom for quite a while together. So,
yeah.
I also just really want to read something quickly from the Duffer Brothers in relation to this. They said, and look, this is probably director bullshit, but they said it was something we always wanted to do. He taps into the hive mind, and then he can manipulate anything within the hive, which explains why he can control the Demogorgons, but could not, for example, open a door, since that is not part of the hive. Of the reasons he accessed his powers in this season, they adopted a now or never approach, with season 5 being the final season, and referenced Will's conversation with Robin as a major impetus for Will, explaining that, quote, we began talking about why now and why he is able to do it now. Some of it is mythology-based in terms of the hive mind's closer than it's ever been for him, but most of what we were talking about was how Will's changed. Throughout the seasons, he's been a little more fearful than the others. He hasn't been a leader. He hasn't accepted himself in the way that some of our characters have. So I think he was really talking about if he's really able to at least start to accept himself for who he is, will that give him the kind of strength that he needs in order to access these powers? Now, to me, that makes these 4 episodes into a big plus of TV.
Sure.
I love that approach.
Well, and the fact that he goes from being someone who was, because like Vecna says, like, you were the first, like, you're the first one I tried this on. And the fact that it seems like every season, Will has been either cast to the side or used as an object. So first season, he's goddamn, he's only in like 3 episodes. Second season, they use him to spy on the Mind Flayer and stuff. And, third season, he just keeps having these like tingly feelings that he's there. So I think for Will, like, yeah, it's about damn time that he actually has some agency and he gets some time to, tap into whatever it is and because Will, if anybody in here has the like skin in the game, I'd say the only person that has more than Will is like Eleven. Because 11 is like, obviously her whole life has been this thing versus Will was like, I got dragged into this shit.
Yeah. So none of the other characters have the backstory that Will or 11 have. Like it's them.
Exactly. Too. Right. And I want to see that. I want to see more of like an 11 and Will kind of dynamic of like, you have ruined our lives over this,
Yes. And I think we've mined as much as we can from the 11 character in terms of backstory and like everything that's made 11. So I'm glad that we've moved away from the 11 backstory and character development a little bit and fed it into Will, who is also the co-lead.
Absolutely. And I love, and not only just Will's, him kind of getting his own agency and to stop being a bit of a wallflower, to get out there and really open up. But obviously all that is incredible, but I don't want to go past Vecna fucking these dudes up. The way he like force fucks the back of that guy's head with his claw. Like that's the goriest thing I think the show's ever done. That was incredible. I was like, bro,
that was a real like, yeah, that was a real like, this is MA. Holy shit. Like,
yes. And I don't want that in every episode, but I want that level of like, when these things show up, we need to feel the fact that like a Demogorgon can, yeah, exactly. Like we need to feel the weight of how much veracity, I think a great example is the raptors in Jurassic Park. Like we feel the weight of what they can do because we've seen it and we know the fact that, they can rip you to shreds. I love that. And I want more of that in these later parts. Because again, I feel like that got a little bit back to the feeling of, okay, yeah, this is like season 1 where like characters are dying and we're not afraid to like really hurt people. And I think that seeing Vecna do that, is perfect because if anybody's going to do that, it has to be the big bad, and he hasn't been here this whole volume 1. So we've got to show him really fucking some shit up. And not only that, but it's how tactical he is with his attack, where like the first thing he does, like they hit him with that flamethrower and he blows the flames back into the backpack of the dude and blows him up. And the next thing he does is pulls the grenade pins out of the guy's belt and throws them into a gas tank. And you're like, bro, this guy is like, not only is he 11 on steroids, he's a tactician of this. Like he knows what to do. Like as he's attacking, it's not just like flick, 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 flick. Like he's doing it in the most efficient way possible.
I love what this show brings out of you, because watching you talk about how cool Vecna is, like it really like, you look like a kid talking like at the playground being like, and then he did this and then he did that. Look, dude, I completely agree with you. I think Vecna was beating some ass, and not in a good way. Like he was fucking, tearing up some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I do just really want to quickly point out, episode 4 is titled Sorcerer. And Sorcerer, I mean, like, you can probably figure out
Will the Wise.
Yes, exactly. But it just, I don't know, for some reason it just reminds me of the William Friedkin movie Sorcerer, which I saw the other a while back, and holy fuck, what a movie. We got to talk about that movie.
Roy Schneider.
Oh my god.
Well, and I think that me, I'm notoriously bad about watching even newer movies, let alone television. Like I can't tell you how many times like I've started a TV show and I just can't. Mandalorian, The Boys, like so much stuff I've started and just never finished. And
please watch Pluribus.
Right. but what I think a lot of people don't know about the show is like, if it was not for Stranger Things, we would not have this podcast, because I fell in love with Stranger Things when it came out. And I was like, bro, I want to hear more and more about this. Is before, like, you know, YouTube video essays were a big thing and people had channels dedicated to this. So I literally looked for Stranger Things podcast. That's what I searched for. And I found the Hawkins Report, which is now a defunct podcast from LSU Media, and fell in love with. I was like, bro, this is what podcasting can be. Like, this is really cool. You can just tell the story of each episode and get into it. I was like, this is really fun. Ended up falling in love with LSG, still a lifelong lover of that podcast. And through that met Zoheb, because we were both big fans of LSG. So Stranger Things will, like, even if the ending sucks, I'll always love the show, because without the show, like, we wouldn't have the community we have. We wouldn't have the friendship or the podcast or any of that stuff. So Stranger Things is one of those, like, even Lindsay's like, yeah, you turn into like Homer at the Duff Gardens when he's like, beer, 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 bed, bed, bed. She's like, you turn into like Homer at Duff Gardens in The Simpsons.
That's good stuff.
Because, yeah, it's the one show that, like, I remember watching season 1 and trying to, like, guess what the Upside Down is. And I'll tell you really quick, my theory for season 1 of Stranger Things is that the Upside Down was an alternate universe where the Cold War went nuclear. That was always my idea, was like the radiation caused these monsters to come, and the monsters are humans. And because you see cars and, like, there's life, like there were people here. And the stuff, the snow falling was like nuclear winter, was like a fallout. And I still am kind of pissed that's not, it was obviously created by Will or Vecna. One of those two made the Upside Down.
I feel like it was Vecna. I actually, until you said that earlier, I thought that question had been answered, but maybe not.
No. And that is something that the Duffer Brothers have said. We are going to answer, like, a lot of stuff. And apparently they're going to answer, I think in season 1, when Will locks the door to the shed, the lock unlocks on its own. And the Demogorgon does not have telekinetic powers. So they're like, we're going to go into that. We're going to explain who unlocked that door. We're going to explain everything. And I'm like, bro, you better, because if this show ends without explaining a lot of where this stuff comes from, I will be pretty fucking pissed, because like, and like, it's one of the few shows that I'm like, some stuff is best left not understanding.
Sure.
Of like Pennywise. I don't need to understand where Pennywise came from. You know, he's like, that doesn't change how terrifying he is. But the Upside Down is like, for this kind of show that is like, has a bit of that, like, J.J. Abrams Lost.
I was just about to say the J.J. Abrams mystery box. Oh, that's so funny. You stole the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah. And imagine if Lost, even though I know the ending of that is not like totally loved, at least it explains, you know, for the most part, how this world came to be. And I think Stranger Things has to answer that question. And why is, because if you remember, the Upside Down is always November 6, 1983. It never changes. It's always stuck in that date. It never goes forward. There's no change. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they have to answer. Why is that right? What happened?
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so in the first season, when Nancy, I think Nancy and Jonathan go into the Upside Down because they try to find a gun. I think she has like a gun or something. There's something that she's trying to get in the Upside Down. I don't remember what it is, but I think Nancy had a gun and then something happened to it in the real world. So they go into the Upside Down to find it. And she ends up finding out, like, she finds her diary and she's like, the last date in here is November 6, 1983. This was like a week ago. And they've realized that Hawkins is constantly stuck in November 6, 1983, which is a great mystery. Why? What is going on? You know, like, why are we stuck in this one period of time? And why is it the exact date that Will disappeared? But it's also the exact date of that play for Stranger Things 5. the why exactly are we stuck on this certain date? I think is really interesting, and it's a question that I feel like if they didn't answer that, or they just hand waved over it, that it would really be like a disservice to, not just the fans, but just the story, to not answer what this thing is, or why it's stuck on this certain date or the certain time period is it would be eternally fucking stupid. And like, what are the Demogorgons? Like, what are these things? Who's really in control? Is it the Mind Flayer, or is it or is it Vecna? And I'm sure either way that answer goes, it's probably going to piss some people off. I think that not everyone's going to love the way the show ends, and I probably won't. I probably won't love, like, I think that no matter how the story ends with who's in control and what the upside down is and blah, 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 like, there's probably going to be some kind of like cracks in that foundation I'm not going to love. But ultimately, as long as they don't time travel, I really don't give a shit. As long as they explain what the upside down is and how it happened, and they don't time travel, I will be at borderline satiated, even if they don't kill anybody off, blah, blah, blah. I'll be fine with that. But we need to definitely have some answers for what the fuck has been, why this whole world has been turned into this,
I'm not, I'm not overly confident in how they're going to end this show. These 4 episodes have kind of like given me a little bit of like, I think they can nail the big moments, but I feel like we're going to come in for a rocky ending here. Like, I think we're just going to.
I'm worried. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've bitten off a bit more than we can chew. Netflix have said to us, we need an hour and a half episodes with millions and millions and millions of dollars. And maybe like they don't. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm dying. I'm so sorry. We don't have the material to sustain that runtime. Like we're going to keep doing the here's the plan moments, and it's just
right.
like it just eats up runtime, and it gets boring, and it just like, we're spinning our wheels a little bit. Because there's only about like 40% of the episode 4 that I really like. Like, the rest of it is just like, okay, whatever. Like, you can get rid of it. We do have some comments here from the After Party faithful. I put
cool.
up.
Thank you for pulling those up. I forgot.
That's all right. I put up a little post just before we jumped on record here. So I was just like, I want to get some people's thoughts on this, because I don't really know what the After Party's consensus is outside of your poll. But we got 3 comments. Thank you to Jose, thank you to Sarah, and thank you to Sarah's partner Patrick for chiming in. I'll take Jose's one if you want to get the other 2 ready, Colin.
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead whenever.
Cool. So Jose says, I've enjoyed the first 4 episodes. We got to see where all the characters are at. Sorry, let me go again. We got to see where all the characters are at after last season's finale, and that they're actively looking for Vecna. I'm glad Robin gets more to do this season. I wish they gave Jonathan more to do, because I feel like he's just kind of there. Shockingly, Holly has become a welcome addition, which is funny because I forgot she existed. In terms of shocking revelations, everyone is talking about Will, which was a great moment, but I'm just as intrigued by Carly's return. The government has had her for God knows how long, and used knowledge of her abilities to create the sonic weapons they used on Elle.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about that.
That is a great point, Jose. Thank you so much. He continues, he says, I know Carly's episode wasn't the most popular, but I've been waiting for them to pick up this thread for a while. I have no clue where all this is going, and we have so few episodes left, but I'm hoping that this all ends in a way where we're happy and celebrate the show as a whole, and not pull a Lost or Game of Thrones where a bad ending tarnished the show forever.
Ah, that's so fun. We just said that. Like, we literally, that's so funny. I brought up Lost, and I had no idea that these comments even existed. That's great. Thank you,
glad.
Jose. That's
Thank
a great
you so
point.
much, Jose. I think we're in simpatico. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I'll take Patrick to start off. Green Room member. Thank you very much, Patrick. Patrick says, I've got a gripe, but not with the actual show, with people. I get that these actors are old memes, but have people looked at actual high schoolers in the 80s? Fair point. They looked like they were trying to sell you a mortgage. And have they just never watched a movie or TV show before? 90s horror had 30 somethings playing high school kids. This isn't new. Get over it. The season so far has been fun. I'm just interested to see where it goes from here, especially with Will's new development. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, we had, I think George Costanza was supposed to be 25 when Seinfeld started. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, he's got a worse hairline than I do.
I don't really bump into the actors aging. I mean, it's just a fucking practicality, to be quite honest. Like, how are you supposed to get around that? I mean, like, they're actors, for fuck's sake. They're supposed to act as if they're not themselves. So I've never bumped into actors aging out of things or anything like that. Like, I'm good.
I agree. Not consciously. I think subconsciously it has hurt the show. I will push back on Patrick a little bit that I do think subconsciously it's hurt the show because
he wants you to push up on him.
It does feel like. Do what?
I said he wants you to push up on him. Push up on him.
I do think that the show, subconsciously, the threat level feels a little bit minimized now because we're watching people who that have driver's licenses and can go vote,
who are capable,
fight against a monster. Yep. Right. Because now it's not 11, 12, 13-year-olds fighting this monster. I think subconsciously that's the issue. And I think they solved that with bringing Holly and Erica to like the forefront. But yeah, I think that's a valid point because I do love the memes. They make me laugh. But I think what a lot of people forget is they're kids. They grow like weeds. And then B, you had COVID and you had the writers and the screen actors and the writer strike. So really, really, this show should have been wrapped up probably 2 or 3 years ago, but they got slammed with a lot of
delays,
time constraints. So fair point, Patrick. Fair point.
Sarah Herring. Thank you, Patrick. Oh, no. I was just going to say, I feel like Sarah is also a Green Room member, given that Patrick's a Green Room member. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's grandfathered in. Sarah Harrington, thank you so much for commenting. Maybe a first-time commenter, so I really do appreciate that. She says, we really like the first 4 episodes. The climax in episode 4 has some choppy CGI that stood out pretty badly, but Pat and I laughed about it. I honestly appreciate it because I hate the scaries, and it took me until last year to watch past the creepy elevator opening scene in episode 1. That's fucking funny. That's so funny because she's like, yeah, it creeped me out a little bit. I'm like, hook that shit into my goddamn veins. Like, that's all I want from the show.
This is what Colin uses to fall asleep, man. Like,
yeah, I put in the 90s it on TV all the time to go to sleep. But yeah, I think that we're probably going to wrap it up here. I don't know really what else we have to talk about with the show so far. Definitely down to revisit the show later on. Obviously, we've got we've got maybe 20 days to go, 3 weeks until the rest of it drops. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed hearing our thoughts and you want to hear the rest of them on this final season of Stranger Things Part 5, definitely go check out our patreon.com/the green room. It's $5 a month. You get 2 extra episodes every month, and we have a backlog of dozens, maybe 100 episodes now, like backlogged on our Patreon, where we talk about all sorts of things. We have top 5 lists. We tell one of my favorite episodes are movies that we've walked out of, which that one always made me laugh. I forgot all about that. And we're going to talk about the Stranger Things 5 Volume 2 and the grand finale over on Patreon. So if you want to check that out, if you want to try to piss on our paywall and get past it like the soldiers in Stranger Things, that would be the place to find it. $5 a month. You get unlimited access to 2 bonus episodes every month, plus a huge backlog of a lot of different things that we've covered. I'm about tapped out. I don't really have anything else to add unless you got anything you want to say, Zoe.
No, not really, man. I just, other than, I overall enjoyed this first offering of Stranger Things season 4. or season 5 rather. It was a bit rocky, but enjoyed it overall. Excited to see where they go from here and how they end it.
Absolutely, me too, man. I've really enjoyed the show so far. Without it, my life would be very different. So I'm really excited to come back and see where they're going to go with this, and let's hope they don't fuck it up. But beyond that, that is going to be it from us. We appreciate you guys listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.